They grab whatever they can and set off, many of them on foot with no set destination. After 6 straight days of relentless bombardment, Palestinians in northern Gaza woke up to leaflets from Israel's military, ordering them to move to the south of the densely populated enclave. The deadline given to the UN was 24 hours. But there is nowhere for them to go. Efforts to open a humanitarian corridor through Egypt have so far been fruitless, and shelters are completely overwhelmed. The head of the UN's Palestinian Refugee Agency called the order, quote, horrendous, and said the enclave was rapidly becoming a hellhole. The streets of many neighborhoods are already ghost towns, hollowed out by ferocious strikes, those who remain alone with their grief.
أولادي رايحات، بناتي جيراني كله رايح. أنا رسالة واحدة بس للدول العربية والإسلامية والعالم كلهيته، ارحمونا وبس. بعرض الله ارحمونا، ما ضلش بعد هيك.
In several cities across the world today, there were protests in support of Gaza, but the drumbeat of an invasion is growing ever louder here. And the price that Gaza's civilians are paying for Hamas's bloody attacks is already so high. At the Shifa hospital yesterday, some of the youngest victims lined the hallways. On a stretcher on the floor of the hospital, a young girl pants with fear. "You're a good girl, praise God, you're here," the man tells her. "Don't cry, my dear." "Everyone is dead," she says. "There's only a few left." In another bed, a young boy lies, heavily wounded, reassuring his father. Don't be scared, Dad," he says. "I am fine." But with no promise of safe refuge, fear is the only sane reaction. Clarissa Ward, CNN.
Ben, for our viewers who know you, they know how extensively you have reported throughout Gaza for years. Your assessment is so much better than almost anyone else. Is that possible for 1 million plus people to immediately leave the north and go south? The UN says it is not without catastrophic consequences.
No, it's not possible to do it in a reasonable amount of time. In fact, the UN, the word they used is impossible. You're talking about 1.1 million people going from the northern part, the area around Gaza City, which is quite large, to the south. There is an active bombardment of Gaza going on. The fuel has essentially run out. There's no way to move those people from the south, from the north to the south. And then when they go to the south, where do they stay? Already more than 420,000 people in Gaza have been displaced. That's 20% of the population. Many of them have gone to Gaza City from the outlying areas, the areas like Beit Hanun and Beit Lahia and the northern edge of the Gaza Strip, very near the main crossing into Israel, the Erez crossing. And that's where a lot of the fighting has been going on. And so therefore, it's just logistically almost mission impossible. And now the Israelis aren't giving a timeline for when this should happen, but under these circumstances, it's almost mission impossible. Poppy?
Yeah, I mean, we heard from the IDF colonel last hour saying immediately, go immediately. So Ben, thank you very much for all your reporting and perspective on that.